You're listening to Breakfast with Pablo.
Throwback Thursday. Every week we catch up with a former reality TV star. This week it's Emelia Jackson, the runner-up of 2014 MasterChef. And Emelia, looking back on it now, what made you decide to go on the show?
Well, I'd always wanted to open my own sort of cafe, and I was in marketing, so I sort of bored at a desk job, and one of my colleagues told me I should apply, so I did. And then before I knew it, I was in. It was a really strange process.
Now, were you the lady at work that was always bringing in cakes and food?
I was. I was always the lady that was asked to bring in cakes, but was always too lazy to actually deliver. So they'd get something sort of once every 2 or 3 months.
But obviously they were good because they all recommended you to go on the show.
Yeah, you don't want to spoil people, you know.
Was it everything that you expected? Because I remember hearing something about some rumours early on in the season that you were thinking about quitting the show.
Yep. It was nothing like I expected.
In a good way or a bad way?
Probably both, really. It was so much more challenging than I thought it would be, not just in terms of cooking, but just sort of like it really is, really stretches your limits a lot and stretches your emotions. And I don't know, it's just really challenging being away from home and being put under constant scrutiny and constant pressure. So it was good because it makes you really consider things in a different light, but it was also really hard.
Did it take the fun out of cooking at all? Because, we don't usually serve something up and then get judged on it.
Yeah, exactly. While we were filming, it was really great, actually, because you're forced to be creative every day and think in a different way. But once I finished filming, I sort of didn't cook for a solid 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah, I was really over it. But, it all slowly came back. I think I was just a bit burnt out by the end of it from, coming up with 3 or 4 new dishes off the top of your head every day.
Yeah, I've only got about 6 in rotation, so to do that many in a day.
I've only got about 6 at the moment too.
Now, Brett Owens, who was a contestant on the show and ended up taking it out, you guys made a deal and he said that he was going to give you $50,000 out of his $250,000 winnings. Did he end up honouring that deal?
He did. If
you had won as well, you would have had to hand over that 50G.
Oh, yeah, it would have hurt, which I'm sure it hurt him as well. But, we did make the deal and he was a good guy to stick to it.
Now, how did you deal with people recognising you back in your regular life after the show went to it?
I sort of found it quite strange. Like, you don't get that recognised initially because when we finished filming, it was sort of early days of the show. Mm-hmm. And then as the show goes on, you're sort of getting stared at everywhere you go. So it was really, really strange. You felt like, I don't know, I felt like I was being watched all the time, but it was actually really nice at the same time. And like now that I'm in London, I get recognised there all the time as well, which is even more bizarre.
We were talking off air about behind the scenes on MasterChef, and I assume most people like me didn't really know this until you told me, but everyone in MasterChef is living together in a house. Yep,
a nice big house.
How is that? Because obviously there's a lot of big personalities in reality TV and in shows like this. You're all bundled in together. What was that experience like?
It's by the end it's really fun, but definitely at the beginning it's incredibly overwhelming. Like we had sort of this enormous dining table, and I remember I used to sit there at dinner with 24 people just screaming on top of each other, just completely silent, like almost rocking, thinking.
Cooking is really the key side to it, but did you know that there was another side to it where you had to live together? That obviously you're quite controlled, and there's 6 months of filming that goes into the 3-month TV show.
Yeah, I knew we had to live together. I don't think anyone really knew how incredibly controlled we'd be. But you can't really comprehend what it's like to live with 24 other strangers until you're doing it. So it seems like a fun thing in theory. But then once you're in there and you're just being like micromanaged and you've got no internet and you've got 2 10-minute phone calls home a week, it's sort of your worst nightmare.
Now, do you have a minder that looks after you from day to day?
Yes, we had 2 minders, so they'd sort of job share with each other, and they'd do all your food ordering and
they're living with you anything. As well?
Yeah, they live as well.
What was it like then getting back to reality and not having that micromanagement and having a minder like that? What was the adjustment like going back to real life?
Oh, it was so hard. That was actually the hardest part of the whole show, was going back to your real life. Like, I used to, I did this quite often actually. I'd sort of jump in my car and go and meet someone for lunch, and then I'd get home and I realised the door was wide open, like not even just unlocked, it was swinging wide open because I didn't even know that I had to shut a door, or I'd go out somewhere and I just wouldn't bring my wallet because we weren't ever allowed to have our wallets. So, it makes you a bit of a baby. So I needed someone to hold my hand through every step of the way.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because we've spoken to quite a few ex-reality TV personalities, and they often say that the come down from being on a show like that can be quite severe. And yeah, the fact that they constantly are losing their phones again, they can't find their wallets, and they forget how to do simple things like shopping. And you seem like you were a little bit like that as well.
Yeah, it was so much. I can't even really explain it, and it's not something you always think. Oh, if I went on a show like that, that wouldn't happen to me, and I thought it wouldn't happen to me as well. So I used to go to the supermarket and with my mum or something and just point at something, and she'd be like, "You can pick it up, you can buy it." Literally become like a toddler that doesn't know how to do anything. And then also trying to socialise on a normal level is really difficult as well, because all you've been exposed to for 6 months is a select group of people, and you've sort of treated like a complete alien by everyone else.
Now, talking about where you are now, you mentioned the fact you're in London. Fill us in, because I do remember hearing something about you wanting to start a cafe, Jackson and Friends. So just fill us in on what's happened post MasterChef.
So it was always sort of my end goal to open my own cafe, but I just really wanted some more life experience before then, and thought in my life I'm probably never going to get the opportunity to live overseas again. So got my working visa, and I left about 6 months ago now. But yeah, I just really wanted, I just wanted that experience, and it's a great food scene in London as well. So I've started my own cake business, which is doing really well over there, and I'm doing a lot of food markets and that type of thing. So it's been a good journey.
Classic Gold, today's hits, Spirit.